This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the CEO of Rockridge Resources, Mr. Jonathan Wiesblatt. Jonathan, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Gerardo. Thanks for having me again.
Thanks for coming back on. You had some news this morning. Let me read the headline, and then I'm going to play devil's advocate a bit. The headline reads, Rockridge intersects additional copper mineralization and plans upcoming summer exploration program at the Knife Lake Copper Project. I would describe, and again, I'm not the geologist and it's not my company, so you correct me if I'm wrong, but I would describe the recently completed diamond drilling program at Knife Lake as a technical success and one that definitely lends itself to encourage more drilling and more exploration. But I would also kind of describe it as a program that is still in the early stages of allowing you to vector in to the higher grade and potential other VMS deposits. We know they don't happen in isolation, right? So I'll let you provide the context on the release and let everyone know how accurate that is.
So I think what investors really need to key in on here is that this was the first exploration program outside of Knife Lake, the maiden deposit area. So we went 6 kilometers west, and we conducted 10 diamond drill holes on an area called Gilbert Lake North and Gilbert Lake South. The targets at that particular area were identified through an airborne geophysical VTEM survey that was conducted last winter. So this past winter. Investors really need to understand that we are now applying modern day geological methodologies to going into a region that has been underexplored. In fact, it's never been explored. So when we moved the drill bit to Gilbert, we were very excited and very encouraged by the 10 drill holes and the results that those yielded. And it was encouraging enough to start building, debating, and technically creating the next program, which we expect will occur later this summer as we fly airborne again to identify more conductivity, more regional targets in and around Knife Lake proper. And we design a drill program that's going to go back and key in on the next deposit, the next discovery in and around the Knife Lake area. So I think those are the real key facts that investors need to pay attention to.
Do you continue to believe that the deposit is part of a remobilized portion of a primary VMS deposit? I mean, I mentioned that these deposits tend to happen in clusters, right? They typically are not one-offs. Is that still the working thesis?
Absolutely. If you look at some of our regional peers that are operating in the same mining camps as we are, these are the same types of evolutionary steps that those businesses have taken when advancing their VMS deposits, which again, we know from others in the region and our own technical expertise, we know that these occur in clusters. And given the modern techniques that we are applying to the Knife Lake project, we are very encouraged that this is a remobilized portion of a VMS deposit, and we are on to the next deposit. We are on to the next discovery. So we just need to keep going. We need to stay to plan. We need to be patient and focused and really drive what's the key expertise of this business. It's its technical expertise. It's second to none. And as long as we can harness that resource, then I know that we will be successful going forward. I'm very confident in our abilities to continue to drive a very successful exploration program at Knife Lake.
It's called exploration for a reason. It can take some time. It seems like you have the right team on it and you're vectoring in pretty aggressively for a first pass program using modern exploration techniques. You mentioned the mining camp and you mentioned your neighbors. Can you talk a bit about the activity in the surrounding area? Because it's a busy time.
Yeah, so one of the big pieces of news that's hit the region is a group based out of Toronto called Fairfax Financial, founded and run by a very famous Canadian investor, Prem Watsa. They recently deployed $100 million into one of our competing projects, Forehand Mining. Foran Mining, if your readers aren't familiar with, they're expecting that mine to become, the McAvena Bay mine, to become the first carbon neutral mining project in the world. This has captured the attention and the imagination of some very large and sophisticated investors. It's also worth pointing out that in my history as a capital markets participant, I don't recall many scenarios where Fairfax deployed capital into a mining project. They typically are not overly weighted towards the mining sector. So this was a very eye-opening transaction in the mining camp in which Rockridge is currently operating in. So a lot of eyeballs now focused in on Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and that part of the country. And we're all going after the same type of geology. So these VMS style deposits. Very exciting time for Rockridge and all the other mining companies operating in that part of the world.
Looking forward to the details on the next exploration program. Thanks for your time today, Jonathan.
My pleasure. Thank you for having us again.
All right. Chat soon.
Okay.